What's going on, everybody? Shane and Jessi here, and we have a lot to sort of unpack. We literally just finished watching the premiere of The Walking Dead Season 7, and we're not feeling so great about it. We've been vocal in our past with our criticisms of the show, but these criticisms rather, are of a very different nature. I want to preface things this way, and I'm speaking just for myself because Jessi and I we've not actually spoken yet on it. We have very briefly. So I want to preface things this way. I am not upset with. Oh, by the way, full spoiler alert, obviously. I'm not upset with who died at all. The two people that I thought were most likely to die died.
Yeah, I think if you look back at, it was actually one of the podcasts that we did, one of the episodes we did, we both said it was either going to be absolutely Abraham or it was going to be Glenn, because they were two very passionate people who would have stood up to Negan after hitting them.
Right.
And probably Glenn would have made it through the first hit just because of who he is. Abraham obviously is a brute of a guy.
He's a big, strong man.
But
so
holy moly.
So I don't think either one of us take issue with that. So for anyone that is, oh, you're upset because your favorite character's dead. I don't really have a favorite character on that show.
You can't, because they're all gonna die.
None of them really jump out to me, honestly. And this is interesting to me simply because it's sort of weird. My favorite character on the show right now is Negan. He is the most interesting thing they have going right now. However, and this will be the main point of this episode, his dialogue, his demeanor, how he's enforcing himself, how he is your antagonist that is going to drive the show. That also I have no issue with. The thing that we both immediately took issue with is the level of gore and violence that we've reached. And I'm prefacing things a lot tonight because I'm covering on my bases. I know there have been graphic shows. I fully understand this. There are movies in the 80s that were really, really graphic and over the top. This is more realistic looking than anything I've ever seen. This is more, I'm not really sure why, but more upsetting. The scene with Glenn in particular was, and I'm gonna try and make this episode as family friendly as possible, was the most effed up thing I've seen. And we loved Hannibal. I literally
But there's a difference between Hannibal and The Walking Dead, though.
Very, very different. This was a man literally with his head caved in and his eyeball sticking out,
reduced
looking, babbling at his wife, watching him die. That is okay. We are a bridge too far here. That our culture and our society is like, woo, entertainment, yeah. That scares me a little bit.
Well, here's the thing. We already know that we're desensitized because we've been able to make it through the previous seasons. Which, by the way, this show set out to be one of the most realistically gory shows. I mean, they go above and beyond with their
makeup,
special effects, and their makeup. And I couldn't handle that scene. Immediately, yeah. I felt sick.
You get that feeling where you're just like, oh,
I don't
Lord,
even know. I don't know if you remember, but I wanted to stop watching like 2 seasons ago. I was already really pissed off because the amount of stress that you go through with this kind of show, and I'm a really high anxiety kind of person, so I can't handle shows that are super over the top like that, because for me they're overwhelming. I get overwhelmed. I'm really sensitive as far as just anything that's basically a little bit over PG. I mean, that's just how I am. Like, we can't watch Game of Thrones because I can't handle the shit in that show. But this show has gone way too far, and we're further desensitizing ourselves. And how many people watch this show with their children?
I sincerely hope that.
I know a lot of children who watch this show.
I sincerely hope that no child watch that, because that's really, really messed up on a level that they've not approached before in my mind. Okay, so I think a lot of us can relate to what I'm about to say. I think a lot of us had that friend in middle school or high school growing up that liked to go to websites like Something Awful, or would look at pictures or videos of people dying,
being murdered, or
and they would be like,
tortured.
watch this. And the natural reaction that a lot of us had, I would like to believe most of us had, would to be like, no, don't show me that. That's horrible. Why are you watching that? And now, not only are we glorifying that, it is on the most popular TV show in the world.
It honestly is kind of terrifying that when they started out on the show, they were like, we don't know how we got it on the air. And every season, they're just like, well, the ratings are so high, we'll just let them put whatever on there now. I mean, we sound really typical as far as the, don't show me gross stuff, typical.
Again, we both loved Hannibal. Hannibal had a guy cutting off bits of his face, and it was, at the time, I was like, wow, that's really pushing it. That scene, the scene with Glenn, was so far and away the most upsetting, stomach-turning, emotionally upsetting thing I've seen in a long, long time.
For me, Hannibal was a show that I knew that there was deeper meaning in everything that they did, in every scene that they did. Every death was almost like art, which is also
it was
kind
so
of
stylized that it almost didn't seem real. It was surreal. But it was so stylized. This is so grounded and realistic and believable.
It was gross and horrible, but the way that they would shoot it too, you couldn't necessarily see everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they also stayed away from super sensitive subject matter that would upset people.
Yeah.
Because they probably care a little bit more about their fans. For me, the writers of The Walking Dead, I mean, maybe I just sound super wrong. I don't even know, but like, I don't see how you could care about your fan base and continuously murder off fan favorite characters in such an awful way and show you. All you have to do is just insinuate that you kill these people and we're devastated. But then to show us something so upsetting, so complete, like it almost felt surreal.
It felt like we watched a man in real life get his head beat in with a bat. The uncanny valley, so to speak, between being like, oh, well, it's just a special effect versus this is real, is so ill-defined and it's so narrow that we need to, I feel, we need to examine what is appropriate at this point, because maybe we're the minority. Maybe we are. Maybe everyone's going to be like, "Oh, you're wrong. No, you're overreacting." But that's not entertainment. That's disgusting. If that is entertainment to you, I would argue, and this is going to be super judgy, the general you, not you specifically. If that's entertainment to you, watching a man be executed would be entertaining to you. And I know people will say, well, but it's the drama, it's the stress, it's the cathartic stress and relief of stress and the drama and all that. You can find that cathartic stress and release of stress in a million ways that don't involve watching something that 99.9% looks like someone being brutally murdered. We don't need this. And I'll tie this back into the fact that our culture is so breathtakingly okay with this, but so terrified of a nipple.
Yeah.
Or any form of sexuality. Oh, God. Oh, my Lord.
But can watch what we just watched. People accept it and be like, oh, that shot was
so edgy. Oh,
that
wow.
was so perfect. It was a complete callback to the comics. Bravo. These are actual comments that I saw where people were literally applauding them. And this is the one thing that I feel like, honestly, I do not know if I'm going to watch another episode.
I want to like this show a lot. I like the character of Negan. Like I said, I like what they can do here. However, there is a colossal disparity which must be pointed out between a comic book and an incredibly realistic man on film. It's black and white, hyper stylized, clearly not real, versus that.
But there is something also about literature that you can go in some really dark places, and that's fine because you're using your own imagination to imagine what you're seeing. But to be on such a popular TV show, something that's like, you would see this kind of thing in an independent film.
Oh, yeah.
You would see some really messed up stuff.
Or on something awful.
Or, yeah, a website like that. But to be on TV, like, not only just, like, their disclaimer for that show should have been... It should have been like, seriously, guys, if you can't handle gore, do not watch this episode.
We're beyond gore, though, to me. I think we're a mile...
It's psychological, too.
Yeah. We are, like I said on Twitter, we are into the realm. We're into the realm of torture porn.
To me, the only payoff, the only thing that they could do to make me feel better as a viewer would to say that that's the last episode that they're going to make. That's it. Negan's taken over the world, that they're all his slaves now, and then, like, that's it. Or, and this is the sick part of me, and I've got somewhere to go with this. They torture Negan, and they get payback from him, but when you think about that, that's really messed up, too.
Yeah.
Now all of us are just waiting for the revenge against him.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's what obviously they built towards.
And if what we saw was bad, what we're gonna see with him is gonna be. It's gonna be so much worse. I can imagine. And if it's not, like, what the fuck? Oh, I'm sorry. Guys.
Well, that's okay. That's dirty word number 2. So
I get really passionate.
Yeah, it's okay. It's hard to keep them out. So, to that point, my gut reaction, and I believe yours as well,
mine was
is
to puke.
That I don't want to watch anything remotely like that again.
Yeah.
I have zero desire, and it's a free country. And like I said, if I don't get it, I sincerely don't get what is enjoyable about that. If you enjoy it, that's great. It's a free country, whatever, I guess. But my gut reaction is that's probably the last episode that I'm going to watch. That I don't want to watch that anymore.
I may read like recaps or whatever, but I don't think I can put myself through what I just.
Why would I want to watch that more? Yeah. Why would I want to watch more of that? That was horrible. It was disgusting. I don't like torture porn. I don't like seeing people die. Who does? So why would I watch that in my spare time? So yeah, that was. These are our thoughts. Again, you're free to have different thoughts. These are just ours. They're highly subjective. If you liked the video, please do click the subscribe button and the like button, as you have been so kindly. If you disliked the video, give us a thumbs down. Tell us what you think. Give us your comments. Let's start a dialogue. I'd love to see some comments and see what people think. If you agree, if you disagree, that's all fine too. So yeah, until next time, try not to get your head beaten in with a bat, and stay nerdy, my friends.